afternoon everyone, and welcome back to another episode of On the Farm. Today is Thursday the 14th of May and we've been graced again with another beautiful day. Despite the fact the mornings actually have been rather cold, frosty, which is not particularly good for the apples, for the potatoes, for those of you with maize and beet, but otherwise it's by sort of 10-11 it's not too bad. Sun comes out. Thank you very much for the views, the likes, the comments on the video we did with Gemma. You seem to have loved that. Whether you just don't need me on the channel anymore, I'll just stick Gemma here and you know, I think you'd be much happier with that. But there we go, we will try and get her back for another video. She did very much enjoy it, as I said, like did you all. That was not very good English. Also, thank you very much for the Instagram followers. I seem to say that every week, but thank you very much. It's very kind. I don't post all the time, but yeah, I will post on there. Sometimes you'll get a bit of an insight as to what the video is going to be coming up in that week, or further on Instagram I usually post something. It's a bit of a teaser. Anyway, babbling on, we will get Gemma back at some point. She did enjoy it, and whether it'll be on the farm video or we might do something again like the question and answer or something, we'll see. It slightly depends on the quarantine, etc., as Gemma will have to go back to work whether she likes it or not, but I'm sure she will come and sit with us again. Anyway, I did mention in the last On the Farm video about the data app when I was talking about the destoning and my turning time, etc. A lot of you were interested in that. Someone called Geordie has very kindly posted a comment, and I'm not going to talk about it this week because I want to talk about something else, but I will look that up. I want to know what I'm talking about and have a good sort of play with the app if I can. I know the website's in German, but Geordie tells me that the app is in English, so we will have a look at that at some point, and I will talk about that in next week's episode if I think it's worth people going and checking out, which it does sound very promising. This week though, I would like to talk about, and I don't know whether you'll have guessed from the title of this video, which I've already decided is going to be Let's Talk. It's going to be about mental health in agriculture. So don't go away yet. It's not completely sort of doom and gloom and going to be a sad video, but I think it's a very important topic to talk about. The reason I want to talk about it is in the Q&A video I was asked about a sort of work-life balance, social life, etc. And it can be difficult. And someone messaged me on Instagram, which when I stop, I'll read the message out. I have asked for permission and very kindly been granted it from them. But they sent me a message sort of talking about mental health in agriculture, as they work on a farm as well. And I'll give you some facts now as to why it's so relevant. So, 4 out of 5 of under 40 farmers believe that mental health is the biggest issue facing the industry at present. Also, suicide is the biggest killer of men under the age of 45 in the UK. On top of that, one farmer takes their own life. More than one farmer takes their own life each week in the UK as well. So it's a massive problem, I suppose, and it's something we need to talk about. People are definitely getting better at it. I mean, while I was sat doing the destoning, I was listening to Tyson Fury's book on audiobooks, who obviously, as we all know, has had massive problems with mental health. He won the title against Klitschko and literally felt so low afterwards. Equally I don't know if anyone's seen the SAS Who Dares Wins, but I think it's Jason Fox on there. Listen to his book as well, and he was talking about his own mental health problems. So these guys are sort of the top of their game, whether it's sport or career-wise. If they can have issues, you win the title and immediately feel like, he was talking about wanting to drive his Ferrari into a bridge. You know, we've got to talk about it. It can happen and affect anyone, and certainly it is a big problem in agriculture. So when I get to the end here, I'll read out that message and we'll have a little chat about it. So just reached the end of that row and wanted to read out this message. I'd just like to say thank you again to this person for given me permission to read it out on the video. Obviously going to remain anonymous, but here's the message. Really enjoyed your video with Gemma, mate. Really nice to see your other half taking an interest in your work and hearing her side of what it's like to be with someone in the farming industry. I also work in farming, and that's one of the things I also struggle with sometimes. I mean, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love the job, but it's hard to keep turning up 7 days a week, 14 plus hours a day. There are days where you feel like, is it worth it? Are you wanting to do this forever? And those thoughts really do get me down sometimes. It's just nice to see others going through the same thing and making it work. Keep it up, buddy. Yeah, so thank you very much for that message, and I think it's important to talk about it. That's the whole sort of point of this video, is that it's okay to talk, it's okay to not be okay, it's okay to feel down sometimes. You don't have to have a great day every day. We're all human, we've all got emotions, so every day doesn't have to be perfect and sort of go to plan. My inbox is always open if anyone wants to have a chat. If you are feeling really down and want to have a chat with someone professional, which I would advise over me, we can have a general chat. But someone like Yellow Wellies, Farming Community Network, DPJ Foundation in Wales, they're all good places to go, but feel free to talk. No one should feel too proud that they can't speak about it, because I think, you know, a problem shared is a problem halved, as they say, and in agriculture it's particularly important to talk about it. It is a lonely occupation. I mean, I've been out topping up, I haven't seen anyone since 8 o'clock this morning, and it's now 2, I haven't spoken to anyone, so you can go days without seeing anyone. In the latest episode, but the latest edition of Young Farmers, Student Farmer magazine, Dan and Geth both spoke about it, had an article on mental health as well. So it is a problem affecting a lot of people, so you should never feel alone. But yeah, thank you again for sending the message, and thank you again for listening to and talking about the mental health as well. So yeah. So I thought I'd put you on my head now as we go back down the other side, up against the hedge, so we'll just go up and down. We'll come back up here when we do the margins anyway, so it doesn't have to be perfect this time. But yeah, on from the sort of mental health, I just thought I would share a couple of my tips. You know, I've fortunately personally not been massively affected by mental health, but I do have days where I definitely feel slightly down. You wake up and think, oh, going to work today, but sort of similar to that message said, you love it, you absolutely love it, but I suppose when you're working on the bounce all the time, it does get to you a little bit, but that's fine, that's okay. I've found recently that exercising is definitely helping, so be it just go for a walk when I've got a bit of time, or slightly embarrassing, I've been doing the Joe Wicks workout, so either when I get home or when I've had the chance on a weekend. We live down a street with houses opposite, and I've had to, when I go into the living room to put it on the TV and follow along, I've had to shut the curtains out of not wanting to be seen. But yeah, you definitely feel better after exercise for sure. So let me know in the comment section below how you help to sort of relieve stress, and just try and improve your mental health as well. So let me know. So sorry for it being a slightly harder hitting episode than usual. I like to try and make these videos as sort of fun as possible, but I think it is really important to talk about issues affecting the industry, and that is probably the biggest one of all, is mental health in particular. But once we've done this, I'm going to go, obviously we've got some winter wheat here, we've got another track with some winter wheat which I'm going to show you and have a little bit of a talk around. We are coming up to T2 fungicide, so we'll have a bit of a chat about that, and also wheat varieties. So stick around and watch that part. Right, so here we are in a field of wheat. This is actually the field you saw on the recent Fendt spreading video with the drone footage. This is a variety called Graham up here, and my aim ultimately is to go into farm management. So I spent, or try and spend a few days with our agronomist at a safe distance, as you have to nowadays with quarantine, etc, etc. At the moment, John is actually up here, so I need to do this field before he sprays it. But he is spraying T2 fungicides, and what he's targeting is the flag leaf, which is this one here that I'm holding with my fingers. Hopefully you can see that on the camera. I put the camera on normal, so that hopefully it looks normal, but most of the yield actually comes from these two leaves. So the idea now is to protect them. If we look down on the lower leaves, you can see a little bit of what looks like septoria there, I think. Hopefully got that in shot. So ultimately now you want to protect the flag leaf on T2. You can see that's nice and clean, otherwise the disease will basically jump up with a bit of rain. So yeah, and then we'll look at a T3. But I got this tool, Stanley knife. I'm going to show you something quite cool now. So if you cut down the stem nice and carefully, what you will find inside is the ear. Hopefully you can see that there. Hopefully this is something a little bit different on the video that you might enjoy. So there's the ear. These are really handy, by the way, for getting out and walking crops. So once this emerges, that's when you might look at doing a T3. But if you see sprayers flying around at the moment, they are probably after flag leaf and protecting the crop, because things like septoria, things like yellow rust, so this is Graham. We've got another variety called Gleam, which is quite susceptible this year to yellow rust. We've got a few problems with it, but they can absolutely nail the yield. So the reason people spray their crops is to protect these leaves, because you don't want disease all over them, to maintain the yield basically. Right, so back in the cab. Arable farmers do have things to do at this time of year. Usually there's crop trials if you can get it in the ground, which last autumn was very wet, so most of them didn't manage to do it. And coronavirus is not around, so they probably would have been cancelled anyway. But what you get are these wheat pocketbook guides, and there's not just a wheat plant that you put in the ground. There's so many varieties to choose from, so many different breeders vying for your business. It is a business at the end of the day. Here's our Graham. I'm just looking to the side to check it out on camera, which I have. So on here you've got things like disease resistance, ratings, you've got agronomic features, so lodging, height, etc. Grain yield as a percentage of control, east, west, north, untreated, because you have it in different regions, because the climate, the conditions, the rainfall can be completely varied in different regions. So a variety that works well here might not work well in the east, and vice versa. But farmers will look at this, they'll talk to their agronomists, they'll go to these events to try and decide what they want to plant, wheat-wise, barley, same with rape, oats, all the varieties, all the crops rather, have so many varieties to choose from. But yeah, so that's our Graham, which we've grown for a few years now. Gleam is new this year. Rust seems to be an issue with it. Yellow rust 7, brown rust 6 on here. So medium height should be good, but for the rest of the season, there we go. So we'll see. You grow a variety, you see how it does. You decide to grow it again or not. Some people will save their seeds. Some people will buy it in year on year, but there we go, something a little bit different to the videos. Let me know if you enjoyed that sort of thing. I am trying to do more of it anyway, go out with our agronomist, because it's what I want to sort of do in the future, not agronomy but farm management. I think it's quite important to have a hold on that sort of thing. So as I learn, we can learn together. It's good for me to go over it in my head as well. But yeah, I guess we will finish topping. It's probably a good time to finish the video. As you've waited so patiently, and there's probably a lot of comments on it, I've got the narrows on the tractor because we are putting more nitrogen on these spuds, so there's no point in me swapping the wheels to swap them back over next week. So It's been all right, a little bit rougher than usual with the narrows on, but it's been okay. So yeah, I will finish this strip. I'll go back to the main farm. I'll go home and I'll probably edit a bit of this video. But there we go. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for joining. Please like, comment, subscribe. Feel free to follow me on Instagram, JJ_Macleod. If anyone has commented about the narrows, then you can tell them at the end of the video I have explained it. So if you do see a comment, maybe just let them know they clearly haven't watched the whole video. But there we go. Can't help that. This video is probably a bit longer than usual. Thank you for sticking with me about mental health. Genuinely, Instagram messages always open if you want to chat. But if you do need help, don't be too proud. Speak to the professionals, yellow wellies, FCN, DPJ. Going to be in the description if you need them. Yeah. It's a tough time, it's a tough industry as well, so we've got to try and stick together, look after each other, and there we go. Anyway, next week I will look up that data thing for the mobile, and yeah, probably do a bit of fert and a bit more topping. No, we'll probably finish the topping. Anyway, there we go. See you next week. Bye bye.